Now, are you connecting to the knowledge that if you are concentrated on your problem, that means you're lacking the power, you won't be able to overcome this problem? Are you connecting that in your heart? Because even if you're going to get just this out of this program, you're already going to be on a really good track. The more you're thinking about the problem, thinking how to talk to the person who you're having problem with, the more you're digging the problem deeper. It will not work. You got to disconnect from the problem. And how you can disconnect from the problem, start doing either mantra or askeza or trying to do best, or start serving people. You need the community. And by the way, what do you think is the most difficult step to start doing askeza or mantra or prayer or serving people? Who wants to guess? What is the first step that is the most difficult step?
We need to get over ourselves.
Yes, good, but not it.
Not enough suffer.
Not enough suffer. Good, but not it.
Persistence.
Persistence, but not it. My friends, the most difficult step is to make a first step. To start. That is what's difficult. Because as you're going to go, yes, you're going to be doing sometimes mantras or askeza, maybe a little bit wrong. You'll forget that you got to stop thinking about negative thoughts. Maybe you're going to start thinking about how you got to do the laundry or pick up your kids from school as you're doing the mantra. It's okay, as long as you made the first step, starting it. Because as you're going to start, you're going to make mistakes. You can call me, or you can email me, or you can get in the next lecture, and you will figure it out. But starting is the most difficult. So destiny, again, my friends, Vedas are explaining that, again, the destiny is something that is, it's a hardship. It's an exam that we're not passing in our life. Where we experience the hardship, that means the destiny is on. The destiny got turned on, and that means it's our time to overcome that exam, whether it's with a boyfriend, husband, wife, parent, or child, where you feel the tension, where something is really not working and it's annoying you, it frustrates you, it brings you pain. That's a destiny. That is a destiny that is knocking on your door, and you don't have power to overcome this. And askeza is there to give you the power. Mantra is to give you the power that is from God to overcome the destiny. When you're walking and running outside, nature gives you the power. But when you're doing the mantra and when you're running or you're swimming in the pool or in the river, nature gives you power. But when you're doing the mantra, God gives you power. Is that clear? Now also, who you're friends with, who you're talking with also makes a difference. For example, if all your friends are sinking in life and you're trying to save them, it's not going to happen. Guess what's going to happen to you? You're going to be sinking too. So that's why when people are sinking and they're trying to save somebody, you know what they do sometimes? They knock the person down in order to pull them out. Otherwise, they're going to take them down as well. And so I see sometimes when people are suffering, they're friends with people who are suffering as well, and they're both sinking. And they're both sinking. I'm like, what are they doing together? They're not helping each other. And so that's why when you go to your friends and you're just sharing all your difficulties, and they share all your difficulties too, guess what it is? When I used to be a hypnotherapist and counselor, I used to say that that's an exchange of a throw up. That's not helping. That's not helping, friends. And that's why we need older. Someone who is wiser, who is kind, who can tell you, this is what you can do. And again, the truth has a bitter taste in the beginning, but then it gives you the power to start moving. And so right now, what I would like for us to do is go over how to do the mantra or how to do the prayer and affirmation. Now, first of all, the pose of how you're sitting makes a big difference, because if you're sitting, and I would like for you to look at me, if you're sitting like this, you're going to fall asleep. And in Vedas, each finger means something. This is the finger I. It doesn't count as number. This is the finger number 1. So if you hold the fingers like this is intention. By the way, you don't need to say, God, I'm going to do mantra right now or prayer so that you will find me a husband, rich and good looking, or so that my husband and I stop talking. By the way, God knows everything you're doing in life. He even knows what you've done in your previous lives. Let us believe that we had many, many previous lives. And that's why some people are born rich, because they've done good deeds and, let's say, happy. And some people are born really broke and poor to a really toxic and emotionally, physically abusive family, because we've done bad deeds in our previous lives. So, but going back to fingers, this is I, this is intention. If you want one specific intention, you hold fingers like this. And God again knows your intention. You don't need to say it. This is if you want to get married. You're struggling in life, you're single, you want to get married, you hold fingers like this. This is if your relationship with husband, kids, parents not working, you're holding fingers like this. This is if you're struggling with health, chronic health, pains, etc. You hold fingers like that. If you want all of them, you hold like this, but all of the attention now spread it. If you want specifically get married, don't work on anything else. I want to get married. If you have any other specific intention, you can just, the best thing what God really wants is for us not to even ask what we want, because He knows better what we need. And that's why most of the time people are holding fingers like this. But if you're again having a hard time trusting God, you're like, okay, I need to get married, or I need to fix my relationship, or I really need to fix health, then you can do that, okay? Now, also, another way of praying is holding your fingers like this in front of your soul chakra. This is, again, all fingers are touching each other, and this is a prayer in any religion, in any spirituality. But for mantra, ideally, you want to hold fingers like this. Now, the positions, I went over it a year ago, but I'm going to go over now again because we have a lot of new people. Either you sit in a lotus position, your legs crossed, your back has to be straight. Either you sit with the knees butt down, that's a second position. If you are struggling in life, and you have a hard time overcoming something and you want to speed up the process, the best way to do on the knees, butt up, meaning you fully trust in God and you want to surrender to the problem. But if you had kids and if you have serious chronic pains, butt down is okay. But if you're single, no kids, no chronic pains, butt up. And the fourth position is standing up. When you're standing up, hands like this. If you are butt up or butt down on your knees, hands position like that. This position of fingers only if you're in a lotus position. If you cannot do lotus position with legs up, it's okay to be under. It's okay. But you gotta try to start a little bit, at least for a minute or two, putting your legs up. What happens when we are doing mantra or meditation? And here I need to draw. What happens when people start doing the mantra, prayer, or meditation? And I explained that on our last meeting when we did the yoga meeting and the meditation, is that we have a daisy analogy. So this is your mantra. You're starting, we're saying hypothetically the easiest mantra. I'll call it mantra even though it's affirmation. I wish everyone happiness, because if it's in Sanskrit, it's a mantra. But if it's in our own language, it's considered affirmation, but we'll call it a mantra. And all of a sudden you're doing, I wish everyone happiness, and you start thinking, oh, I need to do laundry, I need to do dishes, I need to pick up kids, I need to do work. You're going away from your mantra. All of a sudden you caught yourself, oh, I'm somewhere else. You go back here. And the best way not to think about something is for you to have an image who you're praying to. And that's where you need to have an image of Jesus, or Allah, or Krishna, or whoever you are believing to. Because if you don't have an image, you really, okay, for those of you who are really not spiritual at all, you can connect to the universe, but it's much harder. Make sense? And that's why it's better to have an image of who you're praying to. And once you're connecting to the prayer through the image, your thoughts go back to mantra. Make sense? And we gotta catch ourselves. Because if we're thinking about doing the laundry, we're not conquering our destiny, because the destiny is in the mantra, our connecting. And with each time, as you're doing, your days are gonna start becoming smaller and smaller. And then you'll be able to catch yourself, oh, I need to do cleaning, and then you're back into mantra. Or I need to pick up kids, and you're back in the mantra. And you're not going away with this many points before you caught yourself, oh, I need to do something else. Because in the beginning, that's what most of the people are struggling with, okay? So this is the analogy of Daisy when you're doing the mantra. What's also important, we have to get that people who never been praying or doing mantra before, our energy as a human beings, especially when we struggle, is very low, very low. If God is here, we're here. And that's why we need to put the music. And ideally of music, not, sometimes people tell me, oh, I have amazing YouTube followers, and some of the musicians, they're like, oh, Alisa, I'm going to send you the piano, how I'm playing with the ocean in the background. It's wonderful, but he's a human being who just wrote the music. And we cannot put the music of something that we're enjoying, because our brain wants to get enjoyment. And mantra and affirmation or prayer is not for enjoyment of our mind. It's a work. It's a work to conquer what? Our destiny. And that's why we gotta put the music of either monks or either people who are serving monks or serving God. And when we're putting their music, our vibration starts to rise. Of course, they will never be closer to God, but they're much closer to God. And our vibration, if we're here, starts to rise here. In meditation, we don't need music. It's an interruption. But it's a very advanced meditation that we can talk about it months later. For beginners, we need music in order to tune our ears to their love to God. And so that's why when you start, before you even pray or do mantra, you gotta listen to them for at least 5 minutes so you feel their love to God. And then you try to mimic or copy their energy, if that makes sense. You feel that your vibration is up, then you can start doing the mantra. But step back. Before you can even sit down in a position like this or like this, when you wake up, some people are doing the mantra or prayer in bed. That is the biggest disrespect to God. If you're paralyzed, that's the only excuse you have. Otherwise, you cannot do this. You gotta get up. Ideally, you want to take a shower, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, brush your hair, dressed, and only then sit and start doing the mantra or the prayer. Because you see, we're thinking God is somewhere in the clouds. God is actually a person. We don't see him, but he sees us. And so if, let's say, you're in a religion of Christianity, Jesus will be in front of you. Would you be laying down or sitting naked praying to him? Obviously not. And we gotta treat it like that. That we are connecting to Krishna or Jesus or Virgin Mary or whoever your faith is. If you have no faith, it's okay. You can still do I wish you happiness mantra. But we gotta do it properly. And so, you're connecting to the sound of monks. You hear them singing for 5 minutes, and only then you start repeating out loud, I wish everyone happiness. I wish everyone happiness. And as you do that, in the beginning, your voice sounds somewhat rough. What needs to happen, the goal in I wish you happiness or any prayer that you choose to do, it has to be repetitive. Let's say you decided to do a different prayer in your religion. Let's say if you are Orthodox Christian and you want to do a prayer to Virgin Mary, or let's say Otche Nash, and you repeat it 40 times Otche Nash. The goal is to get to the point where your sound or voice starts to even crisp. How you call solовей in English? It's not just a bird. It has a very precise, very clear voice. It becomes so feminine, like very crisp. And you get to that point around after 20 minutes. Huh?
Nightingale.
Nightingale. Yes, after 15-20 minutes, when you're starting to disconnect from your mind, because in the beginning your mind does a lot of this daisy, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. After 15-20 minutes, your voice starts to rise and you feel such a clear, crisp voice. That means you are already in your soul. And that's when you start to conquer your destiny. And what conquers this destiny? The repetitive prayer. In a lot of religion, people are either talking again to God or reading. When you read, you have a connection to God. When you're talking, you have connection and relationship to God, but it doesn't conquer the destiny. Only repetitive mantra or a prayer, same prayer, you read over and over and over, it starts to enter. And it's like, when I start doing the mantra, I remember it felt like almost like the rocket goes from the sky, right? From the earth, and then it's like really, really, really tough, and then it goes into the atmosphere. So you gotta experience this like, back hurts, tired, don't wanna do it, sleepy, and then you overcome that, and then it becomes very light, and you feel like you can do this mantra for hours. You gotta experience that. But again, in the beginning, even if you do it for 5-10 minutes, it's okay. But as you build yourself, 10 minutes on Monday, 10 minutes on Tuesday, 12 minutes on Friday, on Monday next 13 minutes, and all of a sudden 2 weeks later you will be able to get to 15-20 minutes. You will be able to come out of this hardness, right, of your material world, of your hardship, relationship, and everything, and you'll feel this amazing, enormous lightness. That's what the mantra and prayer gives you if you're repeating and repeating. It's an incredible experience. Your voice changes, your way of being, your thoughts. You feel like there's no gravity. You don't even sometimes feel like you're in this room. You're in a completely different layer. I don't know how to explain it even. Very light. So my question is, who been experiencing this mantra? Eileen? Yeah? Raise your hand. Yes? Olga? Yes? Anybody else? Excellent. We can experience this state in other ways, but right now we're talking about conquering the destiny, if that makes sense. And the goal from this mantra for this particular time is to do this in order to conquer destiny, because there's some advanced meditation that is not designed to conquer the destiny. It's to complete the karmas in this life. Vedas are doing all of their practices to share a little bit of advanced knowledge. Is not to be born again, to die and to stay with God, and not to be born again. And so there's meditation and there's askezas for that, but this is very advanced. So we're talking about on the basic level how to conquer the destiny through a simplest way, affirmation, I wish you happiness. If you want to talk about advance, we're going to talk about it next time. No? But again, there's mantras that are more advanced and askezas. And also what happens once you kind of get out of this toughness of doing it first 10-15 minutes, because you shift from head to soul, you notice you start having smile. It's like you're in a space of acceptance, right? And you're even starting to smile. You feel the presence of holiness. And that's a very powerful space. And when you're doing that, the more you're staying in this mantra, affirmation, or prayer, the more you're conquering the destiny. And what happens is, again, this is our soul, this is our destiny. And when we conquer our destiny, it goes through it. And you start to feel, after you finish the mantra, it's like, you know what? Yeah, the husband and I are not doing well, but it's okay. You're starting to feel that it's not as bad anymore. And that means you already conquered the first stage of your destiny. You don't feel the harshness that it will never end. There's no change. I have to leave him or I have to divorce. That means the first stage of the destiny you conquered. On the second stage, as you continue to do the mantra or the affirmation, you not only start to feel it's going to eventually end, you start to feel that it is ending. You feel that, yeah, you have another 5 or 10 feet at the end of the tunnel, but it's ending. You're starting to see that, oh, he has these good qualities and he has these good qualities. You're starting to actually like him. You're starting to kind of actually appreciate him. And on the third level, when you conquer the destiny, you start to feel, I have the right husband. I have the right wife. They're perfect for me. There's no one better could be for my life. And not only that, your relationship, you start to feel love on the soul level. You start to feel that you're gravitating all people towards you. Now you have this really power within you that everything starts to unfold. Your work unfolds, your relationship with parents, kids, not just your, everything starts to unfold. That means you conquered your destiny. And so in a minute, we're going to start practicing this mantra so you can start to experience here today how to do it correctly. Because when we're together, it works with more power than when you do it alone.